The chaos backstage was unbearable. Once a glamorous location for camera cues and squads, the VH1 studio had become oddly silent, save for the anxious muttering that bounces off the walls. Tasha was down. The medics encircled her limp body. On the green room floor, her eyes growing white, her lips quivering, and her signature. In a few seconds, her confidence vanished. No one had expected it. Not like this. At the moment, one Bambi was screaming in a rage, encircled by guards. The next time she tripped, she pushed, she thrust, and Tasha hit her head on the side of a cosmetics container. Counter. There were gasps, blood, and the startled quiet of reality TV pros who realized that the line separating the storyline and real life had just been blurred. They had summoned the emergency services. APA was in tears. Manufacturers argued over whether to retain the cameras, roll it up, or cut it all. Furthermore, Spice stayed still in the hallway, one hand on her lips while the other gripped Bambi's arm to keep her from collapsing. Bambi's eyes widened in surprise. The rage that has now evolved into regret, fear, and something far more damaging than disbelief caused her to heave her chest. "I had no intention of doing so. I didn't know she was planning to." Her voice cracked. But it was too late. Two security guards moved closer and tried to pull her away. Into his headset, the third producer screamed loudly, "Get legal as soon as possible by calling HR." Mommy D, who was watching from around the corner as her phone was filming, walked in and in typical theatrical way, told you everything. "I am a loose cannon," she said. She gave a headshake. "You all didn't pay attention. You all gave her permission to build a brand using secrets and touching stories. Listen to her voice now. Cut through the uncertainty like a blade, and Bambi winced with every phrase. Tasha K was taken out on a stretcher by paramedics. She quickly opened and closed her eyes. Again, the cameras kept rolling. The internet said, "This is going to shatter." "We will be sued first," a producer shot back. Erica Mina, however, persisted in publishing in spite of this. Within minutes, she viewed a shaky video of the aftermath. She truly did it. The caption said simply, YLHAL. Simply put, the narrative was out of their hands in that regard. TikTok had already made the chance into a hit song and social media was ablaze. "Sound," Bambi shouted again. Tasha KLHAL commits a crime at the medical center. The hash accumulated faster than damage control. Maybe put on trial. Bambi assault. J for Tasha's justice. H hospital gate. The worst person OC fired for Scrappy run actual dot. Executive sat, still in a meeting room on the other side of the building. "We have to remove," one remarked. "Her contract," referring to Bambi. Another shook their head. "Not just yet. The footage is still ours, so watch to see whether Tasha files charges first. Before saying anything, we're looking at corporate accountability. This is more than a caste struggle." A legal representative leaned forward. "If that footage is released." On film, there was another voice. "This is an attack. What about Scrappy? If she's not there, he'll stroll quietly." Everyone knew he had one foot out the door. Meanwhile, Spice squatted next Bambi, who sat alone in a side corridor, head and knees wobbling slightly. "What were you thinking about?" she said, her voice sharp but unconsidering. "You can't hit people, girl." Bambi looked up, smudged mascara, especially not with the cameras running. Shuddering, I inhaled. "She spoke lies and destroyed my life. I crumbled because she made everything go viral and all I wanted was for her to stop." Spice was silent for a moment before responding. "And now you may have halted yours." That line hit Bambi like a ton of bricks in her stomach. Scrappy didn't call despite her phone buzzing constantly, calls, fan requests, and blogs tagging her replies, and the absence of PR personnel. Not even a message. Tasha K was laying in a quiet bed at the hospital once more, with a cut, a little concussion, and a monitor that needed stitches. Even worse than that, though, was the possibility. One of her crew members arrived with a camera. "You're sure you want to record this?" he said. Tasha's eyes narrowed. "Of course. My next series begins with this. The reality hurts." She smiled slightly. The camera is rolling. Get it. Let's tell them the truth. Story. The footage of a poorly lit hospital became public in a matter of hours. Hello, I'm doing okay, everyone, but I'm not going to lie. I've never been more terrified of my life on set as I was today. Bambi went too far. I'll be pushing fees as well. The comments poured in. Outrage and encouragement. The internet immediately took sides. Some said that Tasha irritated her. Others demanded that Bambi be canceled, fired, or sent in jail. The circus was already bringing in money for Tasha. By the time Bambi got back to her house, the walls seemed to be drawing nearer. On the speakerphone, the manager was yelling at her. If you have to express regret, you have to go live, apologize, and cry. Damage. Despite the need for control, Bambi was unable to even understand her thoughts. Reality hadn't arrived. Not exactly. Not until her stream was hit by Tasha K's hospital footage. Tasha said that something made her skin crawl. Even if I'm sobbing, sweetheart, I'm still standing if you hit me, try to hurt me, or shout at me. And your secrets, too. You thought I was done. Exposing you. I've only just begun. Was it right? It was internal time, but Bambi lost her rage again. Her guilt gave way to rage. She keeps spinning it. But making money. She still presents herself as a saint. She strolled across the living room, breathing heavily. Then she stopped. She can start a war if she so chooses. She's not the only one with video. You're not the only one with bills. Her mind was racing. Older screenshots, deleted communications, conversations with producers, and possibly even proof that Tasha K staged portions of the disclosure to gain widespread popularity. And there were enough other mysteries if it wasn't. Not just in relation to Mama D, the network, Tasha, and the assurances given by producers' drama in exchange for safety. You still with me? She said. I gave Spice a call. There was a pause after that. Spice said, I'm not against you. But Bambi, you'd better know that what you're doing isn't just a struggle anymore. This is an area of conflict and VH1, and they immediately clean up the home when liability shows up. Bambi's lips clenched. Then, before I let them ruin me, I'll fire down the entire house. An unknown email showed up in a Topps mailbox the next evening. Blogger for fun. Topic: the truth about Tasha K. You didn't witness the arrangement, the hidden transactions, and the unseen footage. The next morning, the blogger went live. I was rendered dumbfounded by a Dropbox link that I recently received. The makeup clip includes a video. Tasha K is shown, chuckling while talking to a producer about what will make Bambi lose her mind when she sees this. They called it a beautiful takedown. You know, this wasn't journalism. It was spellbinding. The tide suddenly started to change again. Supporters couldn't understand. Who was the real enemy? The puppet master was who? Was Bambi hostile, or did she become upset over content? Mother D clapped back with a post. I have no interest in it. Which receipts show up? The woman has nearly driven my child insane. She's now exposed, so don't protect her. Erica Mina sent an enigmatic tweet. This is always deeper than any of you realize. And persistent, yet silent. But apparently he was filming. There was a confessional the next day. His interpretation of the story in its purest form. VH1 was placed under lockdown behind the scenes. Lawyers were called. The video was being analyzed. The producers were instructed to give up their phones. This could be the end of the current season. We could be sued from all sides, one insider said to a blogger. Bambi sat in front of her ring to settle just as the dust was beginning to settle. Assuming those Tasha texts that were made public are indeed about more than just her leaving. Grieving, barefaced, pallid, and determined. She touched the Go Live button with her finger. They'll hear my truth, she whispered this time. Everything, she clicked. The screen suddenly sprang to life. The audience flooded in. The crowd. The battle had entered a new stage. She was unable to comprehend the comments in time. Could manage. While thousands of people saw her live in only a few seconds, Bambi sat peacefully in her well-lit apartment, gazing at the TV. She was going to enter with just herself, a sweatshirt, the firestorm, and no editing or glitz. Do you all want to hear me out? With earnest and dark eyes, she spoke softly. So sit down, shut up, and allow me to share it with you. Rough. Her voice wavered slightly, but not because she was afraid. The reason was adrenaline and rage. She continued by saying, I'm not here to play victim. It's not about forgiving. I humbly plead for your forgiveness and refuse to cry. This has to do with the facts. Moreover, Tasha K is not an impartial truth teller. She has been acting as the puppet master from the beginning, and she has taken advantage of me, my family, and my child to go viral. Her jaw tightened as she looked through the comments. Some people describe her as brave. They're calling her a liar again. She took a big breath. I have proof. Would you want to see it? Pleasant since I got there. Be prepared this time. During the live event, she created a screen share and began going through Tasha K's own producers' texts and screenshots, promising them exclusive protection and even implying that she would turn into a nice person if she gave them what they needed. Scrappy. It didn't end there, though. Voice notes were the next. Featured the words, "Look, the truth," from Tasha K. You see, I need drama to get through this episode, and the truth is boring. She set you up. There was a slight cracking in the audio, but the point of the statement was clear. Please give me something valuable. I knew Tasha was messy, but not everyone was convinced. This portion erupted. Is illegal. Where is the date stamp? How do we know this? You struck her even though it wasn't altered. You may sit here and wonder about everything. That's what Bambi expected, and she had an answer ready. But keep in mind that she ended up in a hospital after using the facts to destroy a mother's life. There are no saints in this situation, just people living. With anger boiling behind her eye bruises, Kay stayed in her medical bed across the city, watching the live feed on her iPad. Her assistant whispered, "Went live." Tasha's jaw twisted as she played voice notes. She's accusing you of being a manipulator. Into a bitter smile. Well, she's falling for it. I wanted this to be known. She pointed to her phone and said, "The editing crew is ready. I can now bring out the larger invoices. We're going to make the official announcement tonight. Oh, and give my lawyer." Just a few hours later, Tasha K posted her own update, which included a ton of Bambi's sobbing videos, dramatic music that was professionally produced, and the bolded text. The truth vs the caption. She struck me then, thirst. She gave me false information. This is the entire story. Uncut, and I'm bringing charges, yes. The footage from the body cameras shows the security personnel shouting for silence on the day of the altercation, and the moment Tasha was loaded into the ambulance. The statement, "This cannot be faked," she said. On video. You truly can't get rid of this, and it can't be spun. She gave a performance, recordings of Bambi shouting. It was edited next to Bambi's earlier live recordings. When she said that she doesn't fear anyone, the edit was efficient, cold, systematic, and merciless. Once again, social media swiftly took sides. Tasha K team. Hashtag became viral. The two live streams were combined onto a single page with pundits and rumors. It's like watching a real-life court case unfold, one YouTuber observed, while another added, "This ain't time. Love and hip-hop are outdated. Hip-hop, and this is a rule." Panic hit VH1. The legal department imposed a gag order for each and every performer. Helpers from many productions were called to a closed door. Meetings. Rumor had it that the network had deleted the Bambi's confessionals and was replacing them with neutral narration. Then, one intern quickly deleted the tweet, saying, "This is much bigger, executives are scared of the show." Meanwhile, Mama D was sipping a glass of wine in her living room, laughing as she watched the whole catastrophe unfold. Finally, that girl killed itself. She posted live followers on Instagram and now wants to cry foul. Bambi, please, had every chance in the world to escape. Instead, she threw her hands. Now the internet is throwing her out, but the biggest surprise came when Scrappy posted again. Fans knew that the image was meant to be a black and white photo of him with a countdown timer without a caption 24 hours beforehand. He was finally ready to speak, and the remarks were frenzied. "We need the truth. Put the voicemail on hold, tell us what happened off camera, and don't protect her. She left you." Bambi couldn't sleep that night, and while she sat in bed, her phone lighted up. With hate, pity, reposts, and texts every few seconds. Spice called her. How are you? No, Bambi answered in a sad voice. Scrappy will say something. I understand. You think he'll have your back? Spice warned. No. A long quiet. Besides, he didn't at all. For the first time since everything started, Bambi seemed less like a warrior and more like someone completely inverted as tears silently fell down her cheeks. I lost it everything. Peace, my guy, my name, Spice. Spice sighed on the other end. Then be really honest before he does, or otherwise you could also lose your legacy. Scrappy went online the next day. He just sat calmly and silently, but damaged, without yelling or crying. He said, "This has to do with closure. It's not a question of picking sides." He talked about Bambi's dishonesty, asking how long he thought something wasn't yes, and about their off-camera conversations that weren't in the final edit. I never asked for perfection, he said. For my kid, for myself, and for all of you, said. But I asked for the truth, and when I found the child I thought was mine, maybe it wasn't. I broke. I didn't say anything to protect her, but she used my silence. After that, she attacked someone for doing something I was too afraid to do. Ask questions. His counsel was insightful. Don't hate Bambi, he said. I'll never be hostile to my child's mother, but I can't keep playing the part. She's experienced, and I'm very sure she can't support violence in any situation. He ended by saying, I left after realizing the truth, and the pain was greater than the deception. I stayed put despite the scandal. That was the last nail in Bambi's coffin, and the video had been viewed millions of times, shocking the internet. Her management released a statement, which was subsequently withdrawn once it was confirmed that she had been officially charged with assault by VH1. Tasha K's legal team filed the case the same day. Bambi was now silent as Mommy D issued Truth, Juice, a branded wine in remembrance. But behind the scenes, she kept watching, still gathering, still deciding whether or not her next action would be a last or a resurrection. No tweets, no lives, no remarks, just a disappearing presence on all media. The resulting silence was terrible, and Scrappy did not have a peaceful life. It passed through time, much like a typhoon, but left everything in ruins. Bambi's name stopped being popular, but not because people forgot, because they were watching, wondering whether she would ever speak again or if her silence was necessary for this last admission. But there was more in that silence, something prepared, something deliberate. 3 days after being fired by VH1, Bambi resurfaced, but not live on Instagram, not even with a really nice YouTube video or podcast, and she walked into a news conference wearing all-black attire, devoid of any glamour or filters, just pain and the truth. Bloggers from all of the major platforms, including TMZ, Drama Now, and Urban Recap, as well as Tasha K's own rivals, each with a pressing record, were already present in the press. She adjusted and took a big breath before responding gently. I made mistakes, while holding a microphone at the podium. The crowd became silent, and even the cameras panned in closer. I lied, betrayed trust, and hurt people who loved me, especially Scrappy, and I accept full responsibility for that. However, I will not stand to be depicted as a monster when reality overtakes me. This industry creates disposable women. The moment we were no longer marketable, I stopped crying and smiling on cue. They had finished me in pain, stopped playing the perfect cast member, but the same people who said be honest in meetings were causing chaos, fabricating drama, and choosing who would be handed up and who would be protected. This is all of the correspondence I've had with VH1's and Tasha K. She picked up a folder and continued. She threatened to turn on me if I didn't comply with her requests for dirt in emails, contracts, and correspondence with producers over the preceding 2 years. Collaborate. The truth is boring. I have to messy you, and you're all wondering why I lost it. One reporter shouted, Are you denying Tasha K's attack? The folder was crushed on the platform. Bambi looked directly ahead. No, that was mine. I had lost.